course, thank you so much, Tessine, for that lovely introduction. And let's just get right to it. I'll start sharing my screen here as well. Y también para todos que están aquí y que hablan español y necesita servicio o traducción en español, por favor haga clic en el botón de Languages, idiomas, en la parte inferior de la pantalla y seleccione Spanish, español, para acceder al audio en español. También puede someter su pregunta escrita en español por medio en el chat. Y si está llamando por teléfono y le gustaría hacer una pregunta, por favor llame al 484-544-3509. So if you'd like to, if you or anyone you know would like to access our services in Spanish and translations in Spanish, please make sure that you click that bottom button here and select Spanish under languages, or just call the number that Tessine just mentioned here. So let's get to it. Here is our May Town Hall. Thank you everyone who's joining us today. We're really looking forward to updating and answering any questions that you all may have. We're just going to do a quick review of what has happened in our COVID response so far, what we're looking for ahead, and again, answer any potential questions. Thank you again to our New York City COVID-19 food czar for us to talk about food insecurity in this crisis and how we can step up and help our neighbors. And especially in this time, I'd also would be remiss if I didn't wish everyone a Ramadan Mubarak. And so as we talk about food insecurity, we should also do that with the cultural context of our neighbors and making sure that we're breaking bread with one another in this special time. We also have with us the Assistant Commissioner for the Family Justice Center and their operations and outreach, as we also talk about the very difficult topic of the surge of domestic violence that we are seeing both here in New York City and just across the country as everyone is sheltering in place. And after that, we'll be opening up to a Q&A. So thank you once again for joining us, and let's hop right into it. So let's start with the federal response. For those of you who have lost count, sometimes it's you hear after one package or another. So what we are now on is that we have passed 4 stimulus packages that have become law. The COVID Preparedness and Response Supplemental, the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. The most well-known one is the CARES Act, which established the PPP program and expanded unemployment. There was also a mini stimulus package after what many of us knew and saw PPP to stumble. The mini stimulus package put more money into PPP. And then we have the HEROES Act, which I just got back from DC last Saturday morning, and we just passed the HEROES Act. That one has passed the House. It will now be heading over to the Senate, and that will be our negotiation piece. So most of us know what happened in these most recent stimulus packages that have been passed into law. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about what exactly is in the HEROES Act that most recently passed the House. So once again, it has passed the House, it is in the Senate. So what you are going to hear that's in this act has not yet become law, but this is essentially our starting offer to Mitch McConnell. So here are some of the top line priorities that are in this bill. As many of you all know, we have been working tirelessly to try to get expanded rent and housing and mortgage relief to all of our constituents here in New York 14. That includes $175 billion in rental and housing assistance that we were able to put in this most recent bill. Again, it is not signed into law, but it's just something for you all to see what potentially may be down the line. It also includes much needed financial relief for our immigrant community, which includes stimulus checks for ITIN payers. This is an enormous area of progress that we have made. And frankly, it was one of the main reasons why I decided to support this bill. Our previous stimulus packages have excluded our immigrant community. They have, sorry if you hear some some normal engines going on in the background here in the Bronx. But yes, so our previous stimulus packages have excluded our immigrant community. They have excluded ITIN taxpayers. They have excluded American citizens married to ITIN payers. And this HEROES Act finally expands stimulus relief to ITIN payers, which is an enormous, enormous victory. It was a hard battle, even within the Democratic Party, to make sure that this was included, and it was. And so given how enormous that is, I did decide to support this bill. We have a critical state and local funding to New York, as many people know. The state is just in a huge financial problem right now because we shut everything down. That means sales tax has not been coming to the state. That means a lot of the normal revenue that comes to the state has dropped, and that translates into risks for our educational system, our hospital system. Everything that our local taxes pay is endangered if we don't get that state and local. So this HEROES Act really makes up billions of dollars in state and local, which is extraordinarily important. And it also includes comprehensive data reporting on COVID-19 cases. We cannot solve what we cannot measure. And to make sure that we have that comprehensive data reporting is extremely important in making sure that our communities are getting the relief that we need. Now, there are some things in this bill that I disagree with and that I think need fixing. The good news is that since it is heading to the Senate, we have an opportunity to make those fixes. So I do believe that the bill should include the COVID-19 Funeral Fund Act. We have not given up. We are fighting tooth and nail to make sure that burial funds get put into the next bill so that our families can ensure and that our families can get access to the financial relief for those who are tragically facing the loss of loved ones. The last thing that our community and our families should be worried about is the costs of burying our loved ones. So we are fighting for a funeral fund. We are trying to expand Medicare. This current bill has COBRA subsidies, which I could not disagree more with. I think that it's just a giveaway to the health insurance lobby, and I don't think that that is something that is appropriate. And I think that instead of subsidizing COBRA, we should be expanding Medicare and allowing the unemployed to enroll into Medicare or to allow Medicare to cover the expenses of the uninsured. Additionally, I believe that we should remove the employee retention tax credit and replace that with a paycheck guarantee so that small businesses can get the assistance that they need now in order to keep their employees on payroll without any loans or funny business or hoops that they need to jump through. This idea that refundable tax credits are going to kind of stimulate the economy, I think is a false one. And it's one that it just kind of reflects a fundamental lack of understanding of what our community is going through. And so those are the, there's good, there's bad. We have another shot at this to try to fix up and shore up the good and try to fix up the bad. And so we will keep you all updated on what that final iteration of the HEROES Act looks like. And lastly, we have a census update. Please, if you are tuning in here and you have not filled out your census, just open up another tab and go to my2020census.gov. It is 10 questions, takes 10 minutes. Fill it out. It will get funding to our schools. It will make sure that we are counted. It could even, it even has the potential to get us extra congressional representation so that we're able to get more funding and more power to the state of New York. We cannot afford to not fill out the census. So please, you can check out my2020census.gov, fill it out right here. Or if you don't want to mess with that online, just call 844-330-2020 and fill out your census. 10 minutes, 10 questions, and it means the world. It means the difference between our schools being underfunded or justly funded. So please do it for our schools, our kids, our infrastructure, and our vote. So please make sure that you fill out your census. And with that, we will hand it over. So thank you so much. And Tassine, I'll kick it back to you.